Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're playing Castle and Drawbridge. Now, as you can see clearly by the background and the different environment, I'm once again, recording this whilst traveling. Now, my hope is this is the last one that I will be actually recording whilst away, and that the next time you'll see me, I'll be back home. At least that's the plan. There is a bit of a blizzard coming in, though, which means that I'm not entirely sure that it will be smooth sailing getting back home. So if you see me recording one more from this room or a couple more from this room, you know what happened. Now, I'm hoping that, I listened to the previous recording of the puzzle and the audio quality, and it was pretty clear it's not the best. I didn't take my microphone with me, so I'm still hoping that it's acceptable. But, I'm sure you guys will point out that it's, less than ideal for sure. Right. I'm really excited about what we're playing today with Castle and Drawbridge. You can clearly see a castle and a drawbridge. It's all there. But what I love about this castle is they've got a banner of Sleuth. You can see that front and center, a detective, a sleuth, of course, wearing a hat, the usual. And at least the drawbridge is, down, inviting, asking people to come across and not have to worry about navigating this moat. So, all welcome. Let's take a look at today's puzzle. So, Castle and Drawbridge by Tingo. Now, I featured a puzzle from Tingo a very long time ago, like very early in the channel, called Irish Dots. So, I'm quite interested in seeing what else Tingo has created. It's got like a series of puzzles out there that are exceptionally highly rated, as is today's. I think today's is like 94% rating. And hopefully we'll figure that out why in a moment, and it will actually be just immensely enjoyable for all of us. Now, just before I take a look at the rules, amazing Tingo, just seeing, the drawbridge, or I should say the castle gate very clearly there. I'm imagining that is the drawbridge. Would it be? Maybe the green is the drawbridge and purple is the castle gate. I'm not sure. And then sort of the rest of the fortification there at the top. But regardless, it's clearly sort of trying to invite you in, and very much a castle and a drawbridge, sort of in a drawing format. Rules then. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So that means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. I'm not going to even try and select the 3x3 box. You guys know this rule set. We've got killer cages. Digits in killer cages must sum to the small total in the top left corner of the cage, and digits may not repeat in the cage. So if I take this 9 cage as an example, if that was a 2, this would have to be a 7. You know that these two cells, based on the dotted line that's surrounding them, have to add up to 9 because that's the digit, or number, I should say, that is given in the top left corner. We also have green lines are German whisper lines. I think most of you are going to be familiar with these. That means that any neighbor on the line must be 5 or more away. So if that was a 2, this would have to be 5 or more away, such as 7, 8, or 9, and 7, 8, or 9. You can never have a 5 in a German whisper line because I think you're going to find it almost impossible, almost, to try and play something that is 5 or more away as a neighbor next to it. Pink lines are Renban lines. They are quite long lines today as well. Now, Renban lines means that you need to place a consecutive set of digits in any order. So down here, for example, we've got an 8-cell Renban line, the pink line. It will require us to put in 8 cells, 7 cells. The digits of 1 to 7, or 2 to 8, or 3 to 9, as long as there's 7 of them, and most importantly, they're contiguous. So, but it doesn't have to be in that order. So yes, if I go for 1 here, for example, that doesn't necessitate a 2 there. That could be 4, that could be 5, that could be, 7 all the way out here. But as long as on aggregate across that line, all of the digits are continuous, you are absolutely fine. You're golden. Cells joined by an X sum to 10. If that was a 2, this would have to be an 8 to make sure that these two cells with an X between them some up to 10. And then last but not least, we've got crop key dots. We don't have too many of those. We've got a black dot down here that says that these two cells, one of them must be double of the other. If that was a 2, this would have to be 1 or 4. And then we also have white dots. If that was a 2, this would have to be 1 or 3 to make sure it is consecutive with that cell. And that is, I mean, it's a fairly lengthy list of rules, but I'm really looking forward to this. Exceptionally high rating. And yeah, even thinking about yesterday's puzzle, which was absolutely phenomenal. Hopefully we're onto a nice quality set of puzzles. Nothing left for me to say other than if you want to play along, if you want to visit Castle Sleuth and go through that drawbridge, link will be in the description down below for you to play as usual. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So I'm sort of taking it all in and trying to figure out where do I want to start. And I think just visually, my eyes are actually drawn to box 2, just kind of like the top of the castle. So I'm kind of dismissing the one at the bottom. It's, yeah, I can kind of see these are 1, 2, 8, 9s. I want to, I like this because 14 cage, 2 of them in the same box nonetheless. That means that these are 5, 6, 8, 9. 5, 9 is one way of getting to 14 in 2 cells. 6, 8 is another way of getting to 14 in 2 cells. I can actually see that one of these has to be the 5. Because if you look in row 2, all of these are German whisper lines. Where's 5 going to be? It's inside one of these 14 cages. So one of these cells is not 9, and therefore one of these cells is not 5. Now, why this kind of, aside from just kind of visually drawing me in, you can clearly see that I've got 3 high digits in these 14 cages. 6, 8, and 9 are all gone in box 2. Now, German whispers, which I didn't explain in the rule sets, often oscillate, or always oscillate, between low digits, high digits, low digits again. Well, the only high digit that's remaining is a 7. I couldn't have put a high digit on either end of this because it would require a second. 7, 5 or more away can only be 1 and 2. These could only be 8 or 9. We have our first digit in under 2 minutes. We're up and running. I don't know if I'm going to color code, but I am going to, just for the benefit of this German whisper lines for a bit. Essentially, I'm going to use, sorry, I didn't mean that cell. High digits will be red. That's 6, 7, 8, 9. Low digits will be blue. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's just make sure I've indeed colored alternative cells, since they're clearly going to need to oscillate back and forth between high and low polarity. Where am I going next? Where am I going next? So, we've got 4 blue cells in row 4. So these are from 1, 2, 3, and 4. And interestingly, it means one of these is a 4. I say one of these, one of these 4 clearly is a 4. One of them is, but whichever one it is, it will have a 9 as a partner, or 9 as a partner, and then another 9 in the middle. But the 9 can't be, I'm going too fast. Let's do the 9 cages and I'll come back to that thought I just started. So 9, and we know that this is a high digit and this is the low digit. Clearly this cannot be a 5. We've covered that on German whisper. 6 is too close because the 6 would be surrounded by 2 low digits and they're not both 1. In fact, there would have to be a 3 in here specifically to add up to 9. 7 or 8 are the only 2 options, and I did not mean to use colors there. 7 or 8, 7 or 8, 1 or 2, 1 or 2. And yeah, because of that, these are from 1, 2, 3, meaning one of these is a 4, meaning that this is definitely a 9. So far, so good. What are these? Do I know? Not sure I do yet. So this Renban line is 9 cells long. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it has to have all of the digits on there, the digits 1 to 9. And right, let's carry on. So box 5 is phenomenal because there are some digits that are clearly, such as these digits, that are not on the Renban line. And these 4 digits that are not on the Renban line have to actually appear in here. So 9 and 4 are in these two, sort of these 4 cells. Now, 4 in particular, you can see is not in a red cell in here. It is in a non-red cell, and one of these is a 4. Now, I'm sure I can do a bit more with this in a second. Let me just think about it. And then the 9, no, maybe I'll come back to that. You see, I can almost see like patterns forming here. But I want to sort of tackle this first. So this is definitely 2, 8. And I know this because I've used up 9, I've used up 7. We've already, and 6 and 4 are simply just, I mean, not possible because the 4 is here, but 6 and 4 are just simply too close on the German whisper line. So this is 2, 8. Now, if this is 2, that would be 8. This is a high digit, sorry, and it would be 6 because 7 and 9 are gone. That doesn't work. So this indeed has to be the high digit, the 8. This is the 2. And therefore, this is it's 1. And it's 1 because I don't know why I didn't do this, but in box 2, these are 3, 4. They were basically the only remaining digits that I haven't pencil marked in box 2. Now this leaves 5 and 6 in here. Is that correct? Yeah, to complete column 5, which is brilliant. Yeah, sorry, I don't know why I went quiet there because I sort of started the thought earlier, interrupting myself from explaining it. So going back to these 4 cells in box 5 that are not on the Renban line have to be in these 4 cells. And I can't believe I sort of didn't explain that at the time. These 2 blue cells, well, they're not the same 2 red cells. So these 2 are blue. It is 4 and another low digit that show up in here. Then we have 2 red digits that must show up essentially in this cell and this cell. And that can only be 6 and 9 based on the pencil marks. If I put a 5 in here, I'm in trouble because it means that there is a 5 on the German whisper line to still be on the Renban line. So that's a 6, that's a 5. This is now 6, 9, excuse me, 6, 9, 6, 9, to essentially cover the 2 high digits in box 5 that are not on the Renban line. And I just want to think about these for a second. So that if this is a 9, you can see that becomes an 8, that becomes a 2, that becomes a 7, that becomes a 2. You know, there's a whole cascade of things. And I'm guessing that cascade is going to start when we start to figure out what these are to try and plug this in. Now, the reverse is also true. Whichever one is not the 9, it will be a 6, which forces a 1 next to it, which forces an 8, which forces a 9, which also places the 4 here. So this is like phenomenal stuff. The 9 would force an 8, which would force a 7, and you can't have a 3 there. So it would be 1 or 2 because it's next to the 7. In fact, it would be specifically 1. Sorry, I'm just thinking through this in here visually. So if that's 9, that would be 8, that would be 7, that would be 2 to make up 9, and that would be 1. Now, that was if this is 9. If this is 6, that would be 1, that would be 8, that would be 9, and I guess, yes, I can have 2 and 3 at that point, because I would have 8 and 9. So actually 1, 2, 3 was correct. No, it's not. There. These are 3, 4, because I've already written in 1, 2. I don't know, being a bit slow tonight, everyone. Apologies for that. So because these 3, 4 are in here, they're also the 3, 4 that's in there. So this is 3, 4. This is a 1, 2 pair. This is not 1, 2, 3 as an option. Can I keep going? I mean, I could keep going. I kind of moved on from row 2 reasonably quickly. So I've placed a 5, but I've placed another high digit with the 7. I only have 2 high digits remaining, and they can only be in here. And these 2 can only be low digits, because there's nowhere else to put 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the high digit in here can't be a 6, because it would be surrounded by a double 1, because that's the only digit that's 5 or more away. So this is not only 5, 6, this is not 5, 6, 8, this is specifically 5, 6. That's not a 6, that's 8 or 9. And up here is not a 6, that's the 8, 9 that goes with the 5, 6. And this is again 8 or 9. What a stunning puzzle this is. This, yeah, there you go. Now we're going to really make progress. So this black Kropke dot just opens up everything now. Black Kropke dots can only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. And look at the composition of box 8. It is basically all of them except for 6. There's nothing else that's left. So that's 6, that's 3, that's 6, bounces back up here, gives me a 5, gives me a 9, gives me an 8, gives me a 6. Is this going to keep going all the way now? No, it isn't. So tempting. But how are we actually going to figure out some of these things? So a bit of Sudoku would help. 1 and 2, where did they go in box 5? This is the only place that they can go. That's 1 and 2. That leaves 7 and 8. They can only go in here. That 8 gives me some of the order. That's 7, that's 8. I don't actually know what these 1, 2s are. I don't know what these 3, 4s are. So I'm guessing something in these columns at the bottom will help me figure out which one is the 6 and which one is the 9. And then we'll just unlock all of this rest. And I just need to think through what would it be. Is it... Yeah, I mean, it's clearly the bottom section is sort of what will help us work our way back up, but actually without pencil marks, but actually filling in digits. So let's think about this Renban line, this 7-cell Renban line, which now includes an 8. So 1 to 8 is not an option, it's too big. Doesn't fit on a 7-cell Renban. So one of these cells for sure is 1. And then the other option is 2 or a 9. So I can do a run of 2 to 8 or a run of 3 to 9. Now, I can clearly see 7 doesn't belong in this white dot, Kropke set, because 6 and 8 are not available. I mean, I'm very tempted to say it can only be 4 and 5. Yeah, 2 doesn't work, which is one of the possibilities because the 3 isn't available. And then 9 doesn't work because the 8 is not available. So this is in fact fixed. This is 4, 5, and the 3, 4 tells us the order. That's the 5, that's the 4. And then I'm left with the rest of this. So one of these is definitely a 7 that has to be on here, and either a 2 or a 9. And we'll figure out what that means in a moment. These 9 cages, you can see they can only be because 1 and 2 are not available in either box. So that means it can't go with a 7 or 8. This has to be either 3, 6 or 4, 5. The 6 in here tells us the 6 at a minimum would be up there. And then the other possibility, the 4, 5, for the moment, could be either. If that's a 4, that would be a 5. I can place a 3, that's not a problem. If that's a 5, that would be a 4. And then presumably then that would be a 6. That's also not a problem. Yeah. But essentially, there is a 4, 3 in one of these. And then a 5, 6 pair with a 3 or 4. It's such an intertwined puzzle. One and 2 and 4, that's 3. That has to be the 8. The reason I say that is 3, 1 and 2, that's the 4. That has to be the 9, excuse me. That means this is the 8, that's the 2, and this is the 9, and that's the 1. The 9 up here, there you go. This gives me everything now. 1, 8, 2. Yeah. Down here it's 9. The 9, 9 setup, that's the only place the 4 can go. That would be the 3. That's the 1. That's the 2. That's the 7. What a brilliant puzzle. These two now are 5 and 7. Doesn't seem like I can resolve them yet. These two are now 5 and 6. Doesn't seem like I can resolve them. And these two are 1, 2s. Right, to bring this home, I need to figure out these German whisper lines. That part I think is obvious. Although, how about I do a bit of Sudoku first? This is a 7-9 pair to finish box 8, which means this is a 5, not a 7. That's a 7. And that 5 means this is a 6, not a 5. So, oh, even better. 9 looking down here, that's not a 9. If this was a 2, this would be surrounded by 7 and 8, because I've already used 6 and 9. And the 7 would have to be up here, and the 8 would have to be down there just because of the 7-9 pair. If this is 7, this would have to be surrounded by 1, 2, and the order, because of this 1 and this 2, has to be 1 here, 2 there. 2, 7 pair, that's not a 2. I need a 5 in this box. These 5 tells me this is the 5. And this is from 1, 8, 9. And it's not 9. I've got a 7, 9 pair. That's 1, 8. That's a 9. That's not a 9. That was a terrible pencil marking on my part. It's not 1, 9. It was 1, 2, 9, but the 9 is here. The 2, 7 is there. That's just 1. That's just 8 now. This is a 4. This 4 you can see is now forcing this 4. That's a 5. That's a 3. This is 5, 6. That's 5, 6 again. This is 3, 4. That 1 removes the 1 option here. I want to, now that 8 tells me that's the 2. That's the 7. That's a 9. We have to have a 7 on this Renban line. That's a 7. I need that 1, 2 that we discussed earlier. I need 3 and 8. That's the 3, that's the 8. Just, 3, 4 pair, forcing the 3 in there. Or I guess that 8 as well, that would be easier. Come on, come on. This is going so well. Let's not slow down now. This is 3, 4. Just Sudoku. If I could select, show you the right cells. 3 4s, 3 4s, that's 3 4. This has to be 7 9 to complete the box. That's the 9, that's the 7. I meant to say that's the 9, that's the, goodness me, that's the 7, that's the 9 because of what's down here. Can I do more? The 3 4s, yes, that helps me. That's the 4, that's the 3. That has to be the 6 now to add up to 9. That's a 5. We can keep going, I'm sure. He says, hopefully. So we need a second 1 2 to complete this column. These 1 2s tells me it can only be up here. That's 1 2. That's the 6. That's the 5. There's nowhere else for it to go because of this 5. And to finish up box 1, that's a 4, which gives me the 3, the 4. How am I resolving this 1 2? I'm guessing, yes. I was thinking, there you go. That 1 gives me the 2, the 1, the 2. I need to see I mean, it's a purely Sudoku now at this point. Yes. 9 over here gives me a 7. That means that's a 9. 1 and 4 over here means that's a 2. That's a 1. That's a 3. That's a 4. We've got a 9, you can see, that can only be in there. I mean, I'm just writing these in now. It's just relatively easy Sudoku at this point. That it's difficult to screw up. Although, watch me, I imagine. 1, 3, 6, and then for the finish, 7. So I did read in the comments, by the way, just keeping a note of the time at 21 minutes, that there was a few comments about this not solving, or at least not showing as correct in CTC. So what I want to do is just double check that I've got this correct. That does add up to 14. That's 14. That is indeed a correct German whisper line. That's 10. That's 10. That's 9. That's 9. That is consecutive. That's 9. That's 9. That's consecutive. That's fine for the German whisper. That's fine for the German whisper. That is 2 to 8. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This Renban line, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 all there. And then finally, these German whisper lines, 1, 3, and 8 are good. 2, 4, and 9 are good. I'm going to declare this correct. And probably check outside of the video that this is indeed correct, and maybe leave a comment underneath in the description. But, you know, logistical issues aside about the puzzle, what a phenomenal puzzle, Tingo. This was absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for creating it. Just love the interplay and the cascade, you know, that once you sort of figure out, I don't even know what happened, to sort of prove that this was this 9 from the 6, 9, and then just this avalanche of filling in all of these options was just fantastic. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video. I certainly enjoyed the puzzle. And see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.